Lady Lindsey is so broken. We got a clip of him. He's so broken. He just tweets out he's on a plane to go over and sob. Put his head on Netanyahu's shoulders. Have Netanyahu burp him like a little baby because he's all upset now that President Trump hasn't taken his advice. He and Tel Aviv Levin.
Now, I understand why Steve Bannon is excited about the recent developments. I think that he's taking the baby metaphor a little bit too far. Once you get to the burping, you've kind of lost me, Steve Bannon. But what he's talking about there is how Lindsey Graham was quite distraught over what it seemed like in the past day or so, Donald Trump backing off of some of the hawkish statements and actions in regard to Iran, seeming to indicate that perhaps we will not be bombing that country. We'll give our thoughts, but first, let's show you what Lindsey Graham had said that led to Steve Bannon's comment.
There are a lot of headlines out there that are, in my view, not accurate. President Trump's resolve is not the question. The question is, when we do an operation like this, should it be bigger or smaller? I'm in the camp of bigger. Time will tell. I'm hopeful and optimistic that the regime days are numbered.
There's a very strange tone and vibe coming off of Lindsey Graham right there. But in any event, he did say on Twitter that he was traveling to Israel to meet with Benjamin Netanyahu, perhaps not surprising. And so Steve Bannon, happy that Lindsey Graham doesn't, at least as of present, seem to be getting his way. He's not the only one taking that sort of position. Tucker Carlson said the South Carolina senator flocked to Jerusalem less than 4 weeks ago to give the ground. Benjamin Netanyahu walks on a nice, thorough kissing, but now he wants more. Graham subjected his Twitter followers to a written lecture about how standing together with America's purported top ally only makes us stronger. Precisely whom does Graham mean when he says us? Plenty of possibilities exist, but the one group to which he's definitely not referring is the people of South Carolina. We know he's long forgotten, but Lindsey is supposed to be in Congress to serve them, not a foreign country. It would be nice if he could try it for a change. That said, I don't know, I'm curious what you think, Jordan. I remember what Donald Trump was saying before they bombed Iran last time, implying that he was gonna cool things off for a couple of weeks and think about it. And so I could be wrong, don't go putting your money on Polymarket on my behalf or anything, but I feel like Donald Trump's comments are to get them to lower their guard, keep sleeping in the same bed that you've been sleeping in according to intel reports. I feel like the bombing is still gonna happen this weekend, but I'm curious what you think.
I would hope not. It's only gonna make things worse. Again, none of this is really to actually benefit the people of Iran. This is because the administration wants a new government that would be more collegial with the United States. So we have access, better positioning in that region. That's it. Ultimately, they want to also protect Israel and Israel's interests, and Israel sees Iran as a threat. That I would hope not. I know Lindsey Graham desperately wants it. And despite being handed a peace prize and also receiving the prestigious FIFA peace prize, John, I still do think that the Trump administration is going to engage in a direct attack on Iran in the coming days or weeks. I don't know when. I certainly don't feel confident predicting exactly when, but I'm sure Lindsey Graham will get the strike on Iran that he so desperately wants.
Yeah, I just feel like, why wouldn't they at this point? Considering who they are and all that, I think that they will. Apparently, by the way, the Pentagon has revealed it's moving a carrier strike group toward the Middle East, as you do when you're peacing. But anyway, so look, and again, you can have your position, you can have whatever position you want in terms of what you would like to happen. I'm in a difficult position because I would love it if the Iranian people finally could self-determine, choose their government if they were free. I wish that America hadn't taken that away from them many decades ago. I don't believe that Lindsey Graham gives a damn about the people of Iran. I don't think any more than Steve Bannon or Tucker Carlson do. I don't think that Donald Trump does either. I know what he thinks about protesters, and so it's a complicated and difficult thing. I don't have an answer. I only have a prediction that I hope isn't true, but we will of course see. And I'll just briefly mention, by the way, so I am glad that occasionally Tucker Carlson can say something that seems to indicate a desire for peace. I would also point out, I saw what he posted recently about Trump and Greenland and NATO and everything, and he was 100% down. But yeah, no, we're bigger, big take from small. Who the hell cares about NATO? It's probably gonna go away anyway. We should totally break it up. And then if you believe philosophically that big take from small, then yeah, we'll take Greenland or whatever and set fire to all of our alliances with the Europeans and everything. And then what ground do we have to stand on to say that Russia shouldn't take Ukraine? I don't think Tucker Carlson would say we have any, and I don't think he would have a problem if they did. And if China took Taiwan and regional hegemons in the Middle East and Africa start gobbling up states around them, that's something. That's an interesting philosophy. It doesn't really seem pro-peace to me. And also, I would remind you, he had seemed to indicate a little bit of opposition to what happened with Venezuela, which is good. But then he also was at that meeting with Trump and the oil executives cheering on Donald Trump. So mixed messages at best coming out of Tucker Carlson when it comes to foreign policy recently. That's just my take. Any final thoughts on any of this, Jordan?
You're telling me that Tucker Carlson is disingenuous, John?
For the first time ever.
I mean, come on. Everyone needs to stop pretending like Tucker Carlson is anti-intervention. He's telling you. He'll say one thing on a show because he wants plaudits, and he does another thing when it gets him closer to power. That's all he cares about. Of course he went to the meeting with the oil executives because he doesn't actually care. He's not a principled person. And the only reason he's criticizing Lindsey Graham is not because he's guided by anti-intervention, it's because he doesn't like Israel. Why doesn't he like Israel? Because he doesn't like Jewish people. He's pushed the anti-Semitic Great Replacement conspiracy theory 4 years on his cable news show. Are you going to actually believe that he's doing this out of some moral and religious conviction? Anybody, give me a break.
Yeah, no, I certainly don't. And by the way, he can be against some interventions and not just him. Marjorie Greene was against the original bombing of Iran.
Another anti-Semite.
Yeah, well, that's also true. But she also has been advocating for the bombing of Mexico for a long time. Like it's very convenient to claim that you're anti-war, but like if you're openly advocating for a number of wars and invasions and neo-colonial adventures, I don't know. I just feel like maybe you're not as pure as you think. I don't know.
Don't forget, Noble Mobile saving you a ton of money. So a lot of people are signing up now and beginning to realize, what the hell, why am I paying so much to Verizon and AT&T? So your bill's only $50 a month, but it can actually be less because they give you money back if you don't use your data. So if you're paying more than $50, there's no reason to not switch. It's crazy not to switch because same phone, same number, same contacts, literally nothing changes. TYT.com/switch, TYT.com/switch. All right, we'll be right back.
And maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe motivation doesn't matter. If you're against an intervention, maybe the reasons people might be your allies on that don't matter. I don't know. I believe in identifying things the way I see them. But anyway.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.